all these different tools that it can use. And most of them are built in, but then I decided to hack on it and add a couple myself. So one of the built-in ones that's actually really handy is execute SQL query. So what I should be able to do is like all columns in the makes table. And I'm just going to tell it tool. I'm not going to tell it explicitly just because like sometimes it'll do it and sometimes it won't, and that's always annoying. Okay, so let's see if this works or not. So this is my Hackety tool, and I don't know if my Hackety tool is going to work. It shows my, I was hoping it would. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, so my Hackety tool didn't give it things that it knew what to do with, and that's fine. But now it's going to fall back and go like, I'll just try to query the database myself. And now my guess is it'll go like, yeah, I can figure out what's in that table now. Oh, or not. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Now it's going to try to, no, don't use that. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So sure enough, if I poke it hard enough, it can figure out like what the table structure is. And it's just doing that by seeing like, hey, there's an execute SQL query and I know how to deal with that. It turns out what it's pointed at right now is an Oracle database, and it knows how to query the table that has all the tab columns from that. So yeah, it can find stuff, and that's pretty cool. That's kind of what it's all about. But I started to do got some stuff working, and I'm probably going to explore this idea some more. Is I cloned it. I'm pointing at a local cloned copy of Tidewave Phoenix, and what that let me do is actually poke around and see how things are implemented. And it's really lovely, as you might guess, because Josiah, I assume, probably read it. I don't know, but it's really lovely and well organized and easy to figure out. It's really nice. But the MCP, the server itself, basically to figure out what tools that you're publishing, it just does this. It just loops through all these modules and calls tools on them. And so what I did is basically look at a couple and see how they worked. And then I added a couple myself. The one that I added, let's look at this one, because this is a tool where I was trying to give it the ability to run tests inside of a Docker container, because that's not something it can easily figure out on its own. And so I just implement the return the right data share that it wants. And so the tool's named run tests. You give it a description to tell it, hey, this is what this tool does. Run the test for the specified backend service inside the appropriate Docker container. You got to tell me which service that we're dealing with so I know what the right container is. And then it also has to tell me the test director and the service name. And then from there, I just hand off to Docker Compose. exec through a system.cmd call. So yeah, basically you describe it, you give it a callback function, and that's it. So it of the options, so I like the day before he published this, I was trying to figure out how to like spin up my own MCP tools with JavaScript and Python, and I I couldn't get anything working nearly as easily as this. Um, Very possibly it could be I just don't know what I'm doing, but I found as a developer this to be like really approachable and easy. Um, the only thing about it that I think I want to extract more of this code out into a library that, like right now, I had to do this by like hacking on Tideway Phoenix. I think there's probably something here where some of this code that they wrote to do MCP tools could be refactored into a library that just does custom MCP tools. Um, I don't know if that's something they are okay with or not. I mean, it's open source, so sure, we can always do it. But um, it seems like I can't see why they would not be on board with that. Um, but yeah, I think it's honestly like a great way to write custom MCP tools. So that's my spiel. Any questions?
So, what other ways that do you see that you would be able to like interact with this thing? I guess I'm thinking of like the normal development process that I use right now, where I'm pretty frequently interacting with the chat console, trying to get it to do the right thing. And then sometimes it does good, and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes I'm like, hey, just run all the specs or whatever, run all the tests and make sure that they pass
Yep.
and fix anything that doesn't. Does it sort of naturally go and figure out, okay, this is how I run tests more often than not? Or is it still kind of too early to tell